Thank you.
I love you.
Thank
You're my favorite.
I guess it's safe to say name recognition is not a problem anymore.
I don't think so. Thank you very much.
Big crowds for Bernie Sanders in Iowa this weekend. When Sanders jumped into the last presidential campaign 4 years ago, he was the longest of long shots. By the end of that campaign, he was the leader of a national progressive movement that nearly toppled Hillary Clinton. Now Bernie Sanders is picking up right where he left off. He's on a first-name basis with Iowa Democrats, and this weekend, the one-time long shot looked like a front-runner. We caught up with him just outside the big farmers market in Des Moines. I started off by asking him about the issues he believes will animate this race.
I think there is a profound anger at corporate greed. Pharmaceutical companies make billions in profits, and 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford the medicine they need. Insurance companies pay their CEOs outrageous levels of compensation. You got 34 million people who have no health insurance. Many people cannot afford their deductibles and their co-payments when they go to the doctor. Fossil fuel industry makes billions of profits while they destroy the planet. Wall Street makes profits, and they're charging people 17% interest rates on their credit cards. I think people see the rich getting much, much richer, and the level of income and wealth inequality increasingly dangerous from a moral perspective and from an economic perspective.
I'm sure you saw Joe Biden say that he is the most progressive candidate in this race.
Well, look, Joe is a good friend of mine, and I'm not here to attack Joe. Joe voted for the war in Iraq. I led the effort against it. Joe voted for NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations, trade agreements with China. I led the effort against that. Joe voted for the deregulation of Wall Street. I voted against that. I think if you look at Joe's record and you look at my record, I don't think there's much question about who's more progressive.
You famously said of Hillary Clinton during the last campaign, I disagree with Hillary Clinton on virtually everything. Would you say the same thing about Joe Biden?
Well, we got to see. This is early in the campaign. So
but you've known Biden a long time, would you?
Well, I disagree with many of the votes that he cast. He and I voted in very different ways. I have stood up for the right of people to have health care because they're an American citizen. I don't think that's Joe's position. What I do want to say, Jonathan, is that I hope on the Democratic side that what the campaign is about is a discussion of issues, not personal attacks. I think I can feel safe to say that no matter who the candidate is, we are all going to come together to defeat the most dangerous president in modern American history, and that is Donald Trump.
Well, one of those issues, obviously, is your proposal for Medicare-for-all.
Yeah.
Biden says that he would like to see a more incremental approach, fix Obamacare, provide a Medicare option for anybody, but allow people to still have private health insurance if they want. Why not do an approach like that?
I'll tell you why. Because the system today is truly dysfunctional. We are spending twice as much per capita on health care as do the people of any other country. Medicare right now is the most popular health insurance program in the country, but it only applies to people 65 years of age or older. All that I want to do is expand Medicare over a 4-year period to cover every man, woman, and child in this country.
But to do that, you would eliminate private health insurance.
For basic needs, yes.
So what do you say to the firefighter in Iowa who has a health plan that they like?
What I would say is that if you want a better program, a more comprehensive program, with no deductibles, with no co-payments, with no premiums, which will cost your family less, support Medicare for all.
But there are some trade-offs, aren't there? I mean, are people going to be able to see the doctor? Can you make that guarantee?
Absolutely.
Like Obama, you'll be able to keep your doctor?
Absolutely. Look, the truth is right now, you may have an insurance plan that the doctor you really like is not on that network.
Well, what if everybody wants to see Dr. Sanders here in Des Moines, and there's more people?
Well, that's the same problem you have today. You have a very popular.
There's got to be trade-offs, though, right?
But that's, look, if you have a popular doctor right now under your current policy, it may take you a while to get in there. But under Medicare for all, freedom of choice with regard to doctors, with regard to hospitals, substantially lower prescription drug costs. We cannot defend, Jonathan. In fact, we cannot sustain a system in which the cost of health care continues to soar.
So we have more economic numbers came out this week. The jobless rate hits a 50-year low. So unemployment is down, and for the first time in a while, we're actually seeing wage growth.
Yep.
Donald Trump, the one area that he has a solid approval rating is on his handling of the economy, 56%. Does President Trump deserve some credit for the fact that the economy,
well, I'm sure
by multiple measures, seems to be doing quite well?
The economy is doing well. And I'm sure I don't have to give Trump any credit. I'm sure he will take all the credit that he wants. But what we should also know is that what we are looking at is a 10-year rebound from the Wall Street crash of 2008. I do not believe that Trump's massive tax breaks for billionaires is the cause of the good economy. But when you talk about good economy, and follow me around here in Des Moines, talk to the workers who are making $9 an hour or $10 an hour. The truth is that half of the people in this country today, despite the good economy, are living paycheck to paycheck. And millions of people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to put food on the table.
So under your economic plan, who pays more taxes? I mean, obviously the billionaires and the millionaires, but who else pays more taxes?
Well, there's a set of different policies, but basically when you have the top 1% in America owning more wealth than the bottom 92%, when the very, very rich are becoming phenomenally richer and doing incredibly well, when you have companies like Amazon, you know how much Amazon paid in taxes last year? Owned by the wealthiest guy in the world, paid 0 in federal income taxes. That's insane. So yes,
So they're going to pay more, Bezos is going to pay more, but who else? Where do you draw the line? Does somebody making $100,000, a family making $100,000 a year pay more? $50,000?
Well, for example, we're going to expand benefits on Social Security, and we're going to do that by raising taxes, lifting the cap on people making $250,000 or more. We're certainly going to raise corporate taxes and do away with these tax havens where the wealthy and large corporations are stashing their money in the Cayman Islands. So look, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, where the average American worker today, this is incredible, is making a few cents an hour more than he or she did 43 years ago, while the people on top are doing incredibly well. Yeah, we're going to ask the people on top to stop.
But but where? Again,
well, look, we have a multiple. It depends on what you're looking. We have a corporate tax we're working at. We have a personal income tax. But at the end of the day, we cannot continue this grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that currently exists.
Last time around, you said that you were the only candidate in the race willing to take on the billionaire class. Is that true now?
Well, I think Elizabeth Warren is a very good senator. My views are different than Elizabeth's on this or that issue, but she's certainly a progressive candidate.
Why are you a better choice for progressives than Elizabeth Warren?
I'll let the voters decide that.
But you're going to have to outline
we will
that, right?
deal with it, yeah, but not right now. I mean, Elizabeth is a friend of mine. She's a serious candidate. She's a good candidate. We have our differences. We agree on a lot of things. We'll let the voters sort it out.
Biden has called himself an Obama-Biden Democrat. Would you embrace that phrase?
Look, Barack Obama was a very, very good president.
What grade would you give him?
I'm not going to give him a grade. Barack Obama, look, compared to the guy you have in the White House now, give him an A+.
Trump seems to want to run against you. And certainly he wants to run, and Republicans want to run against socialism.
Okay.
Is it time for you to disavow that label?
The problem is, and on a television interview, it's hard for me to describe in depth what we mean by that. When Social Security was created, what did the Republicans call it?
Called socialism.
Anytime you do things for the people and you stand up to the wealthy and powerful, you'll be labeled this, that, and the other thing.
But this isn't a label you embrace.
Yeah, but all of the issues that we are talking about, these are ideas that in one form or another are in fact supported by the American people.
So I've heard from several of your opponents talk about the need for a new generation of leadership. So what do you say to those who say, you've been in Washington for 29 years, that you've fought for these issues, but your time has passed, it's time for a new generation of leadership?
What I say is, let the voters decide that, okay? I mean, I will not criticize my opponents for not having a whole lot of experience. That would be wrong. Let the voters decide. I'm proud of the fact that in the last campaign that you covered so well, we helped transform the debate in America. You know, when I talked about a $15 an hour minimum wage, you covered it. 4 years ago, that was too radical. That was extreme. Today, 6 states have already passed that. I suspect the U.S. House will pass $15 an hour in the next month or two. So ideas that we brought forth have helped transform the discussion in America. We started that debate, and I want to end that discussion and take those ideas into the White House.
I want to ask you about the news overnight. North Korea has now launched what appear to be a series of missile tests. How would President Sanders handle that situation?
You know, this is one area, actually, where I do not fault Trump. I think the idea of sitting down with Kim Jong-un is the right thing to do. It is very, very difficult, but clearly they are a threat to the planet. They are isolated, they're demagogic, and we have just got to do everything we can to have China and the people in the Pacific Rim put as much pressure on North Korea and make it clear that they cannot continue to act this way. It is not an easy situation.
Okay, lightning round. So in your lifetime, the presidents that you observed, who was the best president?
I think Lyndon Johnson does not get the credit that he deserves for his domestic agenda. Vietnam was just terrible, terrible, terrible. But I think on domestic issues, LBJ deserves a lot more credit than he got.
Cory Booker says he will name a woman as his running mate. Will you make the same pledge?
I would give very serious consideration to that.
Person of color?
I think it's premature. It would be silly to make that statement right now.
You can't give us your short list right now. Do you favor adding seats to the Supreme Court?
No.
Do you favor doing away with the Electoral College?
I think when you have a guy in the White House right now who received 3 million votes less than his opponent, something is fundamentally wrong.
Okay, last question. Who is going to win the Iowa caucuses?
Well, I'm not going to speculate. We did pretty well last time. We basically tied with Hillary Clinton.
You got within 0.3 of a point.
Yeah. All I can tell you, I'm out here in Des Moines. We're going to work it hard, and I hope we do.
All right, Senator Sanders,
Hey,
thank you for talking to
okay,
us. I appreciate
good.
your time.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.